Hi everybody! Happy last full week of 4th grade. Can you believe it? We are excited to be doing something a little bit different this week. A little fun, a little hands-on, kind of getting to show us what you know about what we've learned for Reconstruction. And this is going to be me walking you through the math part of the project, okay? So there's going to be an activity for each subject area, and the way your teacher is having you present it to them might look a little different, but most of you will probably have either a Google Doc with the project in it, or perhaps be posting things to your content area on your eClass page. So hopefully the activity is the same for everybody. The way you present it will just be a little bit different based on your teacher, and your teacher will give you specific instructions on how they want you to do that. You will have a sharecropping simulation slideshow, Google Slides or PowerPoint slides that you are going to be looking at while watching this video. And I'm going to walk you through the video. I'm going to explain to you what you're going to be doing, and then you'll be able to get started. So this is going to be completely different than what we've been doing in math lately. We've been working on measurement for so long. You guys have practiced so much and worked so hard. This is going to be totally different, okay? So this activity is going to remind you a little bit probably of Oregon Trail if you played that back during Westward Expansion at school. The idea is similar, okay? So you are going to be pretending as if you are a sharecropper, okay? And you're going to have to keep track of the money you spend and the money you earn. And it's going to be very similar to how your parents balance their checkbook or balance their budget, and it might be really great if you could ask them to help you with this if you haven't done anything like this before. But you're going to be keeping track of the money you have, how much money you spend, and how much money you earn. And you're going to see what you end up with at the end. Okay, so I'm going to read through these slides with you to help get you started. Okay, so on the second slide, I'm going to read this letter to you. Congratulations! February of 1866. Dear sharecropper, it is time to celebrate. You and your family have just signed a contract to be a sharecropper on my land. I will provide you with living quarters, that's a place to live, for you and your family, as well as the land to work on. You will pay me 50%, half of the money you make from your crop, plus a small supervisory fee. I will provide you with a mule, but you are responsible for the animal's upkeep. I am your landlord, and what I say goes. There will be no negotiations or arguments. You should consider yourself lucky to have this opportunity to make a living. Sincerely, the best landlord you will ever have. Okay, you'll have to decide later on if we really think that this is the best landlord you've ever had. But this might remind you of your Reader's Theater activity from last week. It's got some of the same situations going on that we had last week. Okay, so this is going to be all about money this week, all right? So let's talk money on the next slide. You came here with $15 cash, okay? That's how much money you have. Now, that doesn't seem like very much money, and it wasn't much money then, but it was more than it is now. So if you had $15 back at this time, it would be more like having a larger sum of money than $15, maybe like $100 or $1,000, but it would be still not very much, but more than it seems for $15. Now, you're going to keep track of how much money you have, how much you spend, and how much you earn on a finance chart, okay? This is where you're going to do your work for the week, and I have put a copy of it in here because I want to talk to you about it and explain it a little bit. Okay, so if you look at it, we see some columns, all right? On the left half of the paper, you see expenses. These are things that you have to spend money on, and when you spend money, what operation are you thinking of to your total? I'm thinking subtracting. When money goes out, the total number of money you have goes down, okay? So you're going to write a description of the thing, and we'll talk about those in just a minute, how much it cost and how much money you have left. So at the very top, it says money I start with. So you're going to write $15 up there at the top. So that's your balance. That's how much you have right now. Every time you spend money, you're going to have to subtract that amount from 15. Now, if you run out of money, there's something called credit, okay? Credit is like an IOU, or maybe your parents have a credit card. It's where you use somebody else's money or borrow money from somebody else to buy something you need, okay? So if you run out of money, you're going to write the things you spend. So say you need a pair of shoes that cost $2 and you don't have that money. You're going to write that on the line of credit side of your chart. Now, line of credit means when you have money, you have to pay that person back, okay? It's not like it was a gift. You owe it. So when you get money back, you have to pay that money. So you've got to keep track of those things too, okay? And I explained this a little bit over on this side. So you're probably going to need to come back to these slides. You might want to go through them slowly after the video and take notes, maybe on a piece of notebook paper, and then you can put them onto this sheet for your final project that you're going to turn into your teacher. Okay, let's go to the next slide and let's go shopping. You will need to have some supplies to farm the land. You can purchase them from the merchant at the store on my plantation. How convenient for you. Okay, so these are the things you're going to need in order to grow your crops. You have to have supplies. So you're going to need seeds, and those cost $1. How else would you be able to grow anything without seeds? So on your chart, you're going to need to write down seeds for $1, and you're going to subtract that $1 from your total. Now you need a plow. How else will you be able to plant the seeds? The plow costs $2. That's another expense you're going to list and subtract from your total. You need a cart. How else will you be able to carry your crops to the market to sell them? Another expense. Write it on your chart. Finally, fertilizer. How are you going to be able to be sure your crops are the best of the best? Okay? So, go ahead and start taking notes or adding those to your chart. Okay, now, the planting of cotton is going really great, but your family is hungry and they need food. You have to have supplies for your family as well as supplies for your farm. So you're going to go to the merchant and buy the things listed on the next slide. These are all expenses that are going to go on your chart. Flour for $1, meat for $2, vegetables for $1, sugar for $1, lard for $1. Lard is like fat that people used to use, they cooked with it. They cooked other things in it. And milk for $1, okay? Add all those expenses and subtract them from your total. Oh no, on the next slide, in March 1866, a tree fell on your fence and your mule got out. So now you have to purchase the supplies to repair your fence, okay? You need 3 rails, and those are going to cost $2. Another expense to add to your chart. Okay, are you running low on money? We better hope nothing else bad happens before our harvest comes in and we make some money. Oh, April, the next month, something else has happened. Your mule is successfully contained. He's in his pen. We've gotten him safe where he needs to be, but now he needs food. We need to buy 5 bales of hay for $5. So add that expense to your list and subtract it from your total. Now, if you've run out of money, don't worry. Go ahead and write it on the line of credit side, and you can pay everything back to your so-so-kind landlord after your crop comes in. Okay, on the next slide, in May, it's been a rough season of planting. You guys have been working really hard, you and your families, and your 3 children need new clothes and new shoes. I, your fabulous and wonderfully generous landlord, just happen to have some shoes and clothes to supply you for a small fee, of course, $4. Just write that on your chart. Now, again, if you're out of money, this is going to need to go on your line of credit side, and you're going to have to pay your landlord back when you get your money for your crops. Okay, in the next month, June, planting can be hard work. Your spouse, that's your husband or your wife, they are needing some medicine. They're not feeling well. Well, that medicine is expensive. It's $5. All right, add that to your chart. Again, if you have no money, you're going to have to put that on your line of credit side, but don't worry, you can pay everything back once the crop comes in. Oh man, in July, the bucket you used to bring water to the mule breaks, and now we have to buy a new bucket. $2. You got to figure out where to put that on your chart. It's an expense. If you have money left, it goes on the left side. If not, it goes on your line of credit side on the right. Man, things just keep getting worse for you, don't they? Now in August, your plow needs to be replaced. A part of your plow needs to be replaced, and that's going to cost $3. So take that expense and list it on your chart. Add it to the other expenses. Again, if you're out of money, don't worry. You can pay it back at the end when your crop comes in. Okay, finally, congratulations. After a whole year of hard work, your crop has finally come in and it's time to sell. Unfortunately, the price of cotton has gone down a little bit. Well, actually, it's gone down significantly. That's a lot. Don't worry, though. You still earned $40 at the market. So now you have some income coming in. So you're going to add some money to your balance, okay? So you've earned $40. Good job. Okay, but don't forget, on the last slide, September 1866, another letter from the landlord. Dear sharecropper, today is settlement day where you settle your debts to me and the merchant. Whatever's left after that is yours to keep. So, remember, according to your contract, you owe 50% of your money, half of it, which is $20, to me, the landlord. As you remember, I also required a small supervisory fee. That is $3, so I'll take that as well. Now, you have some credit slips in the furnishing merchant's cup, so count up what you owe. Those are the things that you put on credit. You borrowed or you bought from the person saying you would pay them back later. That's $19. Subtract that from your total and see what you have left. Do you have anything left? Now, I look forward to spending another wonderful year with you. It's been a pleasure doing business. Sincerely, the best landlord you will ever have. Now, you should have figured out how much money you have or don't have left over at this point. And I want you to really think about that, okay? Let's go to the next slide. Oh, you still owe me some money? Well, don't worry. You can work another year for me and we'll just pay it off at the end of next year when the crop comes in. This is a representation of the cycle that these sharecroppers were caught in, okay? There's a couple of information slides at the end. The Freedmen's Bureau was in charge of assisting poor whites and the freedmen, people who were no longer slaves, during the Reconstruction era. During Reconstruction, the Freedmen's Bureau rented land to these groups of people until it could be sold. This land had been taken from rich plantation owners after the Civil War. All right. President Johnson ended up giving the land back to the rich plantation owners, but there were still freedmen and poor white people who were living on some of that land and farming it, and that's how sharecropping really began. So, if you go down, I'm going to skip the definitions now. You can read through those. Miss Bell has already been teaching us about those. On the last slides, I want you to think about these two questions. Do you think sharecropping is a good system? Why or why not? Think about this real life situation that we just went through that could have happened to many families during this time. And did they have a benefit to their family from doing this? Or did they end up in the negative? And then I also want you to think about who benefited more from the sharecropping system. The landowners or the sharecroppers, okay? So think about those. You can type those answers into your Google Doc or your discussion or however your teacher has you do it. I hope you enjoyed this math activity, sharecropping simulation. Remember, you're going to be filling out that chart and telling your teacher how much money or lack of money you have at the end. All right, guys, we're super proud of you. Enjoy this last week of work. Let us know if you need anything, and we will see you soon. Bye, guys.